I'd like to welcome you to the March edition of the Canyon Country Advisory Committee. You can look at some of the links to our past videos on canyonCountryAdvisor.com, and we also have a Facebook page. We want to thank very much the Moose family for providing this meeting room. I always want to remind you at every meeting that this room is provided to us as a public service by Mint Canyon Moose Lodge and its members. And they don't charge us a dime for this. That's what helps us keep running these meetings without charge. Reminding that the Moose Lodge sponsors some really good stuff. They have a child city and school, Moose Heart, and a City of Contentment, which is for retirees, called Moose Haven. You can follow Mint Canyon Moose on Facebook, and I'll make sure that I email out the link for you. Tonight, we'll start off again, as usual, with our flag salute. We'll go through just a few announcements. We'll approve the minutes, actually, of the January meeting. Then, Stephanie English is supposed to be here to discuss the new fire stations in Canyon Country. Excuse me? Is she here?
She's here.
Where is she? Oh, there she is. There she is. Then we'll talk about the chloride issue and the real story. And what I mean by the real story is, we had 3 of our members attend the chloride, the sanitation district chloride scoping meetings, and so we got a briefing on the project that's going to be built. Then we went to the city council meeting and heard Lorraine West talk about it, and she indicated that there was no project. So we want you to hear what she said. We're going to go fact check what she said, and we'll show you charts from the sanitation district's meeting, and you can make up your own mind. Then Joan McGregor will be here to talk about the Sulphur Springs bond issue, and I understand she had another meeting to go to, so hopefully she'll be there in time. If not, we'll just swap with the community center, Canyon Country Community Center, and outreach discussion, and talk about promises that have been made to Canyon Country and where they are today. Then our version of public participation, which is the first 5 people that want to speak for 1 minute. Then we'll have some Canyon Country Advisory Committee officer nominations because our elections are in April. And then an April meeting preview. Forget what that says. It's April, not February. All right, so Tony, would you take the pleasure of leading us in the flag salute?
Be my pleasure. All those in uniform, military and veterans, right hand salute. All those your right hand over your heart and say with me, I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. As our first announcement, I received a call just about a half an hour before the meeting from Andy Freed. And what he was telling me about was a group of people that are circulating an online petition in support of the legislation relative to the mine, the mega mine in Canyon Country. So I will be sending out, when I send out the information from this meeting, I'll also send out the link to that website so that if you feel that we don't need the CMEX mine here in Canyon Country, you can also sign up to that, sign up on that petition. Their goal is to get 5,000 signatures on it to send to Washington, and from what he's told me now, they've got about 2,500. That's a pretty good deal. Habitat for Heroes has a benefit show coming up. It's going to be on Friday, May 18th. Place is in the Real Life Church in Santa Clarita, and the ticket prices are $15. So if you have questions or you'd like to go, call Jim Lentini, and his phone number is 254-7633. We'll send that out to you also. Habitat for Heroes, if you remember, presented here, and what they do is they do construction work on some of our veterans' homes that need help. It's a very worthwhile cause. Now, last night was a very interesting meeting. Unfortunately, we really didn't have a lot of people there, but it was still a very interesting meeting. It was at City Hall, and we were going to discuss the proposal for the new sphere of influence. And Paul Novak was there with the LAFCO troops. And Paul Novak is really a class act. That guy really is a good guy. He, if you remember, was the individual that came up with the process that we finally were able to determine sites to put the winter homeless shelter in. And he did a really great job in that. And he did an equally great job last night having his staff and their consultants provide a presentation to us and an information on that sphere of influence. So I didn't have time to put this stuff together for tonight, but in the future, what I'd like to do is have a presentation on LAFCO, what LAFCO does, who they are, and how they determine the sphere of influence. Because I thought it was very interesting. It was completely different than my expectations. I expected to go there and hear someone from the city saying, I want a whole bunch, and LAFCO saying, I want you to crawl back to just a little. But instead what I heard was a discussion of the boundaries with rationale as to why the boundaries were drawn where they were, and they made a lot of sense. And in some cases, it expanded the sphere of influence, and in some cases, it diminished the sphere of influence. And so we'll go all through that at the next meeting. High-speed rail. There was a high-speed rail meeting on February the 13th. We did have 2 members attend. And this is another item that we'll talk about at the next meeting. Then there's a high-speed rail task force being formed. I'm not really sure what that means. I just know that 3 of us are on it. We're going to go find out what it means. But we'll get more information about high-speed rail. And that meeting is scheduled for the 26th. I know I've been invited. I know Rick Drew's been invited. I know that Merle's been invited. Maybe others that are here have been invited as well. But anyway, we'll let you know. We'll give you a briefing on this project that is starting out by building a rail system from the middle of the state to the middle of the state. I got to tell you that I was overwhelmed at the last meeting and at our forum. We set all kinds of Canton Country Advisory Committee records. It's going to be tough to go and duplicate that. So up here you can see that there's our attendance, way up there at 140. And I got to say that when you looked at other events around the city, we were kind of up there on the top. Now, if you'll notice here, we got spikes. See how they occur regularly?
What, every 2 years?
Every 2 years they occur. You notice? And those are all our candidates. Those are all the times when we get candidates here. And so I don't know what to do. I think maybe what we should do is have them here all the time. You know, they get. But we do. Ed's here. Ed's here. We got one here. But anyway, it was really, really nice to see that many individuals here. Along with that, also, we had this big spike in video views. And you know how I count those. I count those as the highest number. Well, we divide up the meeting into the different presentations, put them out online, and I just arbitrarily take the highest number for any one individual video. And here we ended up at 114, and for some reason it actually beat out coyotes. I out about this guy, and so we had 114 views. If you add that together, 114 plus 140 at 254, that's a pretty good score for one meeting. Also, I noticed that this spike right in here, where people viewed the video after the meeting, after the month, that was about chloride, and we're going to go discuss it again today. All right. Is there anybody that has any additions or corrections to the January minutes that we mailed out? No? Then the minutes will stand as read. The 2011 officers, there they are. Can we have some 2012 officer nominations? And please don't be silent. Yes, sir.
I nominate Al Ferdman for president.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I thought you learned at the last meeting that I couldn't be president because I couldn't read the teleprompter. But I'll accept it for chair. Is there a second? Second. Is there any other nominations for chair? Are there any nominations for co-chair? Thank you. Is there a second?
I second.
Are there any other nominations? Okay. How about nominations for secretary? Speak up.
I nominate Natalie. Nadine, sorry.
You nominate who?
Nadine.
Oh, thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Is there any other nomination for secretary? We will have, yes, ma'am.
How do we determine who has been at 2 meetings for the calendar year now?
If we have a vote, we tell people what the requirements are, and according to our bylaws, then people are on their honor to have voted based upon those requirements. Okay. Next month we'll hold our elections. If there are any other nominations, we'll be happy to accept them, and then we'll be on for 2012. At our next meeting, by that time, we'll have the Santa Clarita election results. That may change some things, may not. We'll have to wait and see. We'll have our officer elections. By that time, we should also have a high-speed rail presentation ready for you. And you can tell how you're going to go up and down the state by train, if you live long enough. Then there's going to be progress on sign and code enforcement. Things are happening. I'm going to be getting together with Cruz again. We'll talk about that. Also, I'd like to talk a little bit about the redevelopment agency and how the successor agency is going to pay the debt back. If any of you were watching the council meeting, you know I asked questions about that. The redevelopment manager did get with me, did explain it to me, so we have some good numbers that will help us watch next year's amount. And then we'll also talk about the city's business incubation plan. So all that for the next meeting. And with that, I would like to thank all of you for coming and attending the Canyon Country Advisory Committee. Thank you.